What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 72 of the Left Coast Sleeps podcast. I'm Sean Orange with my good buddy Trevor Bast. This is the NHL PA pod, the Matthew Snyder pod.
It is. You told me that he was the number 2 guy. I didn't know. I knew he was involved, but
He's high up there.
So if something happens to Bill Daly, some unfortunate
Donald
thing
Fehr.
happened to Donald Fehr, it's Matthew Schneider, a former player.
Nothing wrong with that.
I wonder if he has a law degree or anything like that. A lot of them go and do that.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be in that position if he didn't have some credential.
Yeah.
So he played for the Leafs in 96 to 98, 115 games.
Not bad.
He played for 10 NHL teams, so he was kind of like the Mike Sillinger of defensemen a little bit, wasn't he?
Got around.
And 1,289 games, drafted by Montreal in 87. I mostly remember him as a Canadian.
I don't remember that.
I guess he would have won a cup in that 93
Did he?
Habs team, yes. Yeah, the
Impressive.
last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. That seems awful.
It's almost 30 years ago.
That's just brutal.
That is
I
brutal.
got to tell you about, while I opened the beer from Wyatt at Liquor Planet. Oh, so I just walked into the cooler and there was a lady standing in the back. I hadn't seen her before.
Cooler guy wasn't there?
No. And so I saw the beer. I opened the door. I knocked on it. I saw her. She came over and said, I'm just picking up this bag that Wyatt left for me. And she said, like seriously, she said, are you paying for it? I said later. I said, and then I just left. But
Was it awkward?
I'm sure it was for her.
Was it awkward for you?
No. No. I heard the most Victoria or West Coast thing that happened in Oak Bay today. Did you hear this?
No.
The power was out in the Oak Bay village. For those people who don't know, it's kind of our affluent area of town because an eagle flew into a power transformer
Wow.
and knocked out the power.
Did the eagle die?
No.
Crazy.
He just manned up and skated away.
What if it's a female, though?
I don't know. Are there female eagles?
Yeah.
What do they call them?
Eagles? Like, they have to reproduce somehow.
Well, there could be some. I mean, they're pretty badass.
Looks like is this Driftwood Brewery? Like
No, it's
the
Hoyne.
Ooh, Hoyne.
It's Hoyne Brewing Company, Appleton's finest British ale. Oh, we're going British. Is that because they got the extension on the Brexit deal today till the end of January?
That'd be pretty.
I think they're calling it extenshit or something like that. They're
Waxit.
wax it.
Are you pro Waxit?
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Since you're a Saskatchewan guy, are you like pro Western separation?
Yeah, I'm moving back to Regina. I'm starting my own political party. We're actually physically going to remove Alberta and Saskatchewan from Canada. We're just relocating. We're relocating.
How would one get from like in BC though? Like, how would that work? Would we have to build a wall?
Yeah, there's lots of spare parts kicking around. Apparently, there's a wall that's not being built somewhere.
Could the mountains be used as a wall?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Glaciers.
Fair enough. Unless global warming hits, it melts.
Yeah. You could just make a little because it's still going to be connected through Whitehorse and like the Yukon. So
Do you know one pod that I've really gotten
I'm
into?
pouring the beer.
Sorry, did you read it?
No, there's no description.
Yeah, there is.
It's Hoyne. You know what? It's in like the most ridiculous font. You can read it after I pour it.
All right. I was just going to say, I've really
But
got...
it's a British ale.
Yeah, you did clarify that.
Okay.
I've really got into... do you listen to The Daily?
No.
It's done by the New York Times. Like
How often does it come out?
Monday to Friday in the morning. And it's only like a 20, 25-minute pod.
Perfect length.
It is the perfect length.
Yeah.
It's the number one podcast.
That's what she said.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And what is it? Political?
They focus on one story an episode, like produced by the New York Times.
Yeah.
And so they focus on like one story. Sometimes there's like a two-parter, but it's very interesting. They who are the author of the story is, they interview them, they talk about it a little bit more in depth, and it's really good.
Nice.
So it's a switch up from the hockey pods.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I have do I have any non-sports pods in my wheelhouse right now? No, I don't. I may have to get cultured.
A little bit of culture.
First blush of the beer, not bad.
It's pretty good. It's your standard lager.
It's a lager. Lager?
Lager.
You want to take a crack at the description? It's really tiny.
It's dark over here too. All right. No, the light doesn't help.
Okay.
You're just shining at my eyes. You want me to fail. Frank Appleton started it all. He and John Mitchell dreamt up, then engineered and built British Columbia's very first craft brewery, the Horseshoe Bay Brewing Co. On that early system, he brewed the very first batch of craft beer in BC. He went on to build numerous other breweries, and along the way, he taught many brewers how to become brewmasters, myself included. He passed the time honored craft of brewing the beer onto a whole generation. So please let us all raise a glass to Mr. Frank Appleton and say thanks.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
So what are we kicking off with?
Do you think Frank the Tank crushes beer?
Crushes beer. He eats the hops and then crushes the beer.
Would that like affect you more if you just ate like dry hops straight?
I don't know. Would it be like having edibles?
I don't know. I just look into that. Is that beer edibles?
There's no alcohol in hops, though.
It'd be cool if we did like a brewery tour somewhere and did a live pod from a brewery interviewing a brewmaster of how to brew beer.
Yeah. No,
That'd be cool.
that'd be good. That'd be a good episode.
Yeah.
We can drive up island, maybe. Watch an eagle fly into a transformer.
There's lots of great brewery options in
Or
Victoria.
an eagle turn into a transformer.
Wow.
That'd be sweet.
This pod is off the rails.
Codi Ceci.
So
We said we'd give him 10 games. We gave him 13.
13. So what is your... Do you want me to start?
Yeah, no, you go ahead. Then I'll know what my counterpoint is going to be.
The eye test
Yeah.
for me is he's been okay. Like he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
But the area that I'm most concerned about is that Riley hasn't been as good, and I'm nervous that it's CC bringing Riley down.
That was going to be my take. He's been meh, but the pairing itself has not been a good shutdown pairing.
No.
So
Muzzin and Barry have been solid.
yeah, well,
Muzzin,
yeah, it's more Muzzin than Barry. Barry's struggling right now, but I mean, I expected from all the Senator talk and all the Leaf people who looked at his advanced stats and judged him on that coming into town, I expect him to be just a complete disaster. But he's physically takes the body. He's got a goal and 3 assists, and he averages 22 minutes a night.
those are some advanced stats you pulled up right there.
Oh yeah, no, you don't go anywhere for those. You come right here. Goals, assists, plus 6 for the season.
Wow.
I wrote that down.
Would you like the hockey DB or something?
Hockey reference.
I think with Ceci is that he's been okay. Mm-hmm. At $4.5 million, he's been okay. I've liked him more than Zaitsev. So I think it's a decent
just
upgrade.
because of the contract.
Yes, you have to take it all into
Whereas
context
a player,
here.
I don't think his PK's been bad.
There's been noticeable times where he fucks up, and you're like, "Come on!" Like he has that he fucks up like this ability.
Yeah, I think in this micromanaging era we live in, where all 82 games are on TV, there's social media, there's 1,000 replays. Defensemen fuck up every game. Like, defense is a hard position to play in the NHL, especially now that you can't touch people very much or in inappropriate places.
That's just
right?
that's just the Leafs. The Leafs don't hit anyone.
No, that'll be. We'll touch on that later on.
I saw an interesting tweet today that people
One of mine?
No. People are now complaining about the 2019 Leafs because they don't hit enough or push back. Mm-hmm. And like it's so like 5 years ago, it's like we have no skill, we just have toughness.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's like that you can never get like what you like. It's always like you want something else. It's like if you're in you have something and it's like, oh, I want this instead. It's just like that fear of missing out.
I mean, I guess. I mean, there's a balance. I mean, we talked about this before, and there's these guys are being asked to play this way, and none of those players ever grew up not taking the body in minor hockey or junior hockey or college hockey or anything like that, right? Like they understand that separating the man from the puck aspect of the game.
It comes back to me, like I saw a few things, like one where Barry gets blown up on Saturday night, and Matthews like is right there and just does nothing, just skates by.
Either fly by.
It's like if that was Boston, like Marchand would do something. Anyone on that team would do something. Mm-hmm. It's like there's just no cohesion, or they're not.
Yeah.
Like they're not playing as a team.
I think there's a certain level, and I believe we talked about this before the playoffs last year. Maybe there is a certain level of like you can not feel like a team if you're not sticking up for each other to a degree. I think the Leafs have bottomed out on that threshold of like they just don't even stick up for each other. They don't even pretend to stick up. They don't give a gratuitous face wash. And why? Like, why do you think that is?
Because Babcock and Dubas have gone all in on skill. Like that's what they're building this team around. Pure skill, where it's not that veteran presence, the team toughness. They don't body check. They play a certain way. They're not going to push back. And ultimately, it's a test of is this how you win a Stanley Cup? Like the recency bias? No, because the St. Louis Blues were built differently.
Yeah,
but they won. They also got lucky and got a hot goalie.
It's one thing to be ahead of the curve and be, as we've kind of called it, a bit of a science experiment.
Yeah,
it's one thing to be ahead of that curve in hockey, but there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever yet that the complete sterilization physically of your team is going to bring you any benefit. Like even in a regular season game, like I understand the skill aspect. There's not guys punching each other in the face anymore. There's not stage fights. There's not wasted fourth line roster spots anymore.
But there's no
evidence that this is even 5 years from working. Like that's what worries me. Like we might be so, and you know what? I think that's less of a Dubas thing as it is a coaching thing. Like I think they're coached up to not do this. They're admonished for every power play they give up. The players are afraid to take a penalty because penalties are so frowned upon. And I don't know, like sometimes you just take a penalty. You know what I've liked about Alex Kerfoot? He's taken a lot of penalties lately, but he's not yet sterilized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of almost slid into Kadri's role. Like he's a little bit more of a shitty guy than I thought he was going to be. You know what I mean? Like he's got a little bit of a bite to him.
I like Kerfoot. I think Kerfoot's been great.
Yeah. And I mean, he hit what's his nut from behind, kind of put him into the boards, got the penalty, and then Domi dropped a glove and punched him in the face twice.
How is that not?
I don't know how that's not a penalty.
Crazy.
But you know what? Like as much as I hate that, as much as I hate Max Domi because he's on the Habs and stuff, that's a guy that gets it.
Yep.
He 100% gets it.
Like right now where we stand, like we're like I'm starting to now look at the playoff race.
Yeah.
We're tied for third in our division with 14 points. We've played the most games, us and Buffalo. Buffalo's already at 20 points.
Yeah.
Tampa's behind us. Montreal's behind us, all with 2 or 3 games in hand. Mm-hmm. Our division's like we're tied with Florida. We talked about Florida at the start of the year. Buffalo's kind of come out of nowhere. Can they sustain this? We'll wait and see.
They're banking points though.
They are. We are in this like scenario now where like our division's probably the toughest division in hockey.
Yeah,
probably.
So the Leafs got 100 points last year, finished third by 4 points over the Habs, right?
Correct.
4 points.
Yeah.
So like this team is already 500. Like 14 games in, that's a decent percentage of the schedule.
Well, they're 6-5-2.
It's not nothing.
It's a losing record.
So it's an 88 point pace. So in order to pick up those 12 points, they're gonna have minimum 12 points. They're gonna have to go on some like 8 out of 10 runs. Winning 8 out of 10 a couple times and go on some hot streaks. And I just don't see this team doing that right now.
It's actually an 88 point pace.
80, I said 88.
I thought it was 82.
No, 88. And so, I mean, unless once we get the entire group back, something starts to click.
But like if you lose your number one center, like that's a big deal. And we have lost our number one center because it's definitely not Austin Matthews.
No, it's
the way
not.
He's playing.
No,
like
he's kind of mailing it in.
Interesting. Steve Simmons wrote an article this week of does someone have to have the Yzerman talk with Matthews to pull, like, just to get him engaged. Yeah, and I know I was too young when Yzerman was like coming up. Yeah, but it was like, maybe you can touch on that a little bit. Like, do you see similarities there?
I don't recall. All I know is that they lost a lot. Like, they were actually bad, right? So, I mean, I can't speak to that. I don't know what triggered Yzerman. I know that, I mean, he became a better leader as he grew, but. I mean,
this pod is just off the rails.
The culture. Yeah, you didn't tee me up for that one earlier.
It just came to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a Detroit fan.
This is natural.
But
I thought you might like.
But these guys are so much more mature. Like a guy, when Steve Yzerman played junior hockey, they were drinking on the bus. Right, they probably had a lot more maturing to do than these guys who enter the league groomed with the media from 15 years old and all that kind of stuff. Like, and these guys want to get fucking paid. They are paid, right? So I mean, I don't expect anyone to have the talk with them. Like fuck the talk, like walk the walk, right? Like this is a different era, and Dubas, man, like he stuck his neck out paying these guys, like he really did.
I don't want to talk about the contracts, but it's easy to now. But even a guy like Marner is top. He's got 15 points. He's quite hot, but he's
projected for 100 points.
It's been kind of like a blah season though.
Just the team in general.
Like I know he's predicted to be over 100 points, but it's just like Marner hasn't looked great.
We haven't seen Magic Mitch.
No,
he's not creating an open ice.
And I still think we're getting a couple big guys back. We're getting Dermott back this week, and Hyman's around the corner. That Hyman, JT, Marner line, that's top line, one of the top lines in the league. Yeah, and we need to see that though before we can really criticize Marner more. Yeah, but like, is Hyman that big of the driver on that team though? I sure
maybe he is. Yeah, I hope they could actually be a playoff worthy team without Zach Hyman in the lineup. It'd be pretty sad if they couldn't be.
But we don't have any other player like that in our team, and that's what our team.
And he doesn't even do the things that you and I are talking about.
But no, he forechecks.
He's not a face washer. He's not a pushbacker. He just works really hard. That's why aren't these guys working hard?
I don't know. I know that for you that's a coaching thing, and I wouldn't disagree. Like, there's something going on.
And someone did mention on the weekend that for the entire tenure of Babcock's time in Detroit, they had the least fighting majors of any team in the NHL.
He wants skill.
And that was during the fighting era too.
He wants skill players.
Even then, he was dumbing down what was the norm even then. Yeah. Right.
And I look at it, and they're not in it right now. Like, they're not checked in. And on top of that too, our schedule's been fucked.
Well, that's just
4 back to what the fuck is going on?
13 games, and 4 of them have been back to backs.
Crazy. Hutchison has been awful. Not good.
Do you think he's a bad goalie?
I don't think he's an NHL caliber goalie. I don't think he's a
back. I don't think he's an NHL backup goalie.
If there's 62 goalies in the NHL, I would put him 63 and below.
Do you think if he played against the awful San Jose Sharks on Friday night, who generated 17 shots, he wouldn't have won that game?
That game was painful to watch.
but he wins that game.
I don't know.
Like, it used to be back in the day.
I don't know if he wins that game.
It used to be back in the day when Martin Brodeur played 76 games, that his backup just played against the really shitty teams. There was no science involved in anything. Your backup played against the shit teams.
I would say San Jose is better than Montreal.
Hutchinson's... No, I don't think so. Hutchinson's only played the best teams in the league. Like, Clennon didn't have to go play the best teams in the league as a career backup. He got the Atlanta Thrashers, like that. So all of a sudden science gets into the game, and we got to go bank those 2 points first and throw our back up to the wolves on tired legs the next night.
I get it.
What is that? Like, fuck science.
Fuck science.
Have a bit of a gut.
Well, like he's doing.
I mean, I agree. Global warming is a problem, but fuck the others. Fuck hockey science.
So like he should, but he's making decisions based off what the numbers say. That's how the decisions are.
But and everybody is like everyone employs these fantastically qualified analytics people, but is this now just baseball? Hockey's not baseball. It's you don't just put 3 infielders on the right side because this particular fellow only goes that way 98% of the time. Like that's not hockey. Hockey doesn't operate that way.
No, it's fair.
If you don't have a gut, get out. Like if you don't have the balls to use your gut.
But that's how the team's playing though too.
Get your balls out of your gut.
You're very offside tonight.
I'm gonna look up the eagle thing. I think there are only males.
How did the females reproduce then? Like, how do they?
They're just badass. Like American eagle. You think there's any female American eagles?
It's like maybe hermaphrodites.
I don't know. I'm just angry.
Mangry? What are you mangry about? About the bald eagles?
Yeah. They were on the brink of extinction at one point. We brought them back.
They love the landfill by the BC Ferries terminal.
Oh my God!
There's so many eagles.
Oh, Reg, remember though? Reg, the producer is here. When we went on our Alaskan cruise, been a few years ago, we were in Juneau. We were driving on the highway in that bus, and on every lamppost was an eagle. Like, there wasn't one for 10 miles that didn't have an eagle on it. It was spectacular.
So cool.
Yeah,
it was the most in the world.
Yeah,
most in the world.
Yeah.
But like, bringing it back to the backup goal,
right?
I feel the only reason that Hutchison is on this team is because of his cap hit, because of how like where we're at cap wise.
Well, that's the only reason that like 7 or 8 people are on the team, but most of them are doing pretty well. You know, like our fourth line.
I think everyone's on this team for.
We got a lot of minimum wage players.
Like Myrtle put a great piece out last night. Like we're about to lose our depth forwards. Like that, it's about to be gone. To get Hyman and
yeah, they got to do some funky
back.
stuff. They say there's no issue when Dermott comes back, but when Hyman comes back,
Dermott's on his entry level deal still.
Yeah. So,
but
speaking
when
of Dermott,
Hyman's $2 million a year, and it's gonna be bad.
They might have to just carry 21 guys for a while.
But we're gonna lose our depth though. Like if Spezza gets put on waivers, he's probably getting claimed. Like he's been pretty good. And I don't get the whole why Babcock doesn't like him. I think Spezza's been fine.
I just think he likes other guys more. Like, I don't know how you can play him in front of Timashov or Goat. Well, actually, then what's that? Patan, right? That's not great.
Patan's gone.
But someone's getting pushed down when Hyman comes back.
Probably Patan.
Is it Moore? But someone's getting pushed to the 4th line.
Moore.
Trevor Moore?
Has to be Moore.
Yeah.
But then your 3rd line will be Soupy, Kerfoot, and Kapanen.
Yeah, that's not bad. They actually had some good chemistry already this year.
Kapanen's been much better.
Yeah,
away from
he's
the
not
JT
expected.
line.
Yeah, when he's not expected to be.
Because the
that
JT
guy.
and Marner are very like methodical, like cycle type players. Where Kapanen is just like skate as fast as he can, maybe get a goal.
Yeah. Actually, last game he did make a couple of nice passes. He actually stopped and put his head up and made a couple of nice cross ice passes.
Yeah,
that might have been the San Jose game when everyone was just skating really slow on San Jose because they were on the second half of a back-to-back.
That game was brutal.
Would have been a good time to play their backup goalie that night.
Could have been.
Just saying. Yeah.
Got 2 points though.
What do you think of Dermott coming back? Pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that does. Just like how our pairings go. Does that mean that Ceci stays with Riley? Does Dermott get played with Riley? I think Muzzin Barry is solidified.
It's working well enough.
And it's really like, what is that third pair? Like, what does the defense look like for you when he comes back?
I say for the first 5 games, he'll just have to have 3 third pairing minutes because he's coming in with no training camp or anything. You can't put him up against top 2 lines right off the bat.
So who do
Right.
you have as who will you be playing with then?
Well, Hall Dermott.
So you have Hull being in the lineup then.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hall Dermott, and then the other two pairings don't change, and that might work for a while. I mean, that might be okay.
I liked Hull's
And
game
that
this year.
Dermott can probably kill some penalties, right? I think he's good. No, Hall's been improving every game.
Because he's
His
actually
confidence
playing.
is up. Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Like I wouldn't even like. I put out a question on Twitter today saying like, with these 6 guys, what are your pairings? And I got all kinds of answers from all different kinds of followers.
Reliable sources.
Yeah, but I mean, like for just working with what we have and forgetting about prejudices about depth charts and just looking at what would be our best lineup. Would you one day feel like comfortable going with a Hall Riley pairing?
No.
Or is that too many minutes for Hall?
Too many minutes.
Yeah. I think it would work in a small sample size.
Yeah.
If you ever had to just do it for a particular reason, but I don't think Hall should be playing 26 minutes a night alongside Barry.
Fair.
Yeah, but I do like him. I think he's, as a right-handed shot, he's pretty good.
I agree. I'm excited to have his how that's gonna mix with Dermott.
I think they're going to be a really good pairing. I think
agree.
they're probably really pumped. Probably the only 2 guys on the team that are just generally going to be just energized to play together, right? Because they're good friends from way back in the Marlies, and Dermott might inject some energy onto his team. Actually,
Both in contract years for both of them as well.
yeah, that's true.
Like I'm sure Hall wants to get paid again.
Yeah,
Probably likes making $1 million a year.
yeah, totally. I've got a hockey pool update.
Is Trevor Sucks the big one still doing good?
I've passed that mother. I can't wait to discover who that is. But I am in 8th place.
Very nice.
No, 9th. But I have sucked the big one past me tonight.
Talked a little too soon.
I got the late game going though. I got Pedersen going in the Canuck game tonight.
Okay, there you go.
So he might as also. So it's been fun. It's good. Austin 416 is still in the lead, like a dominant lead, and then everyone else is just in a pack.
It's super early.
But I'm not going to give away what I'm doing on the air. I started managing my reserves in a really crafty way, and I really expect to creep up each week because of this strategy that I have.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Very
so on our crushability scale.
What? First off, I just want to say this pod has been like the Leafs, just all over the fucking map.
Yeah. No, we do. Oh, who's that?
Focus.
Anthem singer alert. But
this beer was
we
was
do
nice.
We do reflect the team.
It was a nice lager. It's almost like it could have been like one of your big breweries, like a Labatt's Blue, like just tastes like a beer. I know might sound stupid, but it's just got
you're right. It does.
It's a beer,
Yeah,
and it's
it
not
has
too
a beer taste.
hoppy. It's not too fruity. It just you're cracking like a Labatt's Blue or a Molson Canadian.
Yeah.
It gives off that vibe.
So let me ask you, based on our crushability scale, forget about like taste, okay?
Yeah.
Just on crushability, where are you on the 1 to 3?
I'm on the off the glass note.
Are you really?
Polacking it.
So if somebody brought 6 tall cans of this beer, you wouldn't sit there and crush them all night. Like
No.
you're that offended by it.
It just tastes too much like a regular
beer.
Yeah.
I think for that reason, I'd probably have 2. I'd give it a 2-star, but then I'd start craving some more flavor.
Fair.
Yeah, but it's a good beer. So,
How would you describe it?
like kind of like a Labatt's or a Molson's.
That's what I said.
Oh, is that what you said?
Asshole.
So, actually, you know what? Complaining about the schedule, the Leafs only play 1 game in the next 6 days. So that's they got a little bit of time off now to rest their legs and have some practices.
Fix the fucking power play breakout.
The power play period. Like I commented on Twitter the other night that they've just, for 2 games, they were looking for Matthews in his that new sweet spot. They're not even trying to do it anymore. Like there seems to be no plan in any aspect of the game right now.
They're very checked out as a team right now.
They are,
and it's not a bad thing that we're dealing with this in November. Like not even November yet. Like it's like let's deal through a little adversity at the start here.
That's a very optimistic perspective. But I don't expect that to be different in March because I think it's a coaching thing, as you know.
Yeah.
So
that's clear.
And I you know what? I don't even like. Let's just pretend for a minute that Babcock is a good coach. There's a point in time when the players hate you that you have to be replaced, right? And I guess that's what they're probably grappling with right now up in the suite.
You think so?
Yeah. Two-phone Dubas is probably wondering what to do.
Who do you think has that final authority?
What's his nut from MLSE?
Tannenbaum?
Yeah.
You think it goes above Shanahan's
They're
head?
boys. Him and Babs are boys.
So you think this goes above Shanny's head?
Yeah, like they go to like TFC games together and stuff.
If Dubas wants to fire him, he's got to go to Shanahan.
Yeah.
Get Shanahan to sign off on it.
Yeah.
And then have Shanahan take it to Tannenbaum and the board.
Yeah.
That's fucked. I disagree with that.
You disagree?
Because
now you're right.
Now we're back to the board of directors making calls.
Well, I mean, that's kind of been the history of the franchise.
I want you to make a prediction right now.
Okay, I'm going to write it down.
October 28th.
October 28th.
Who is coaching the Leafs on April 1st, 2020?
April 1st, 2020. See, I'm going to say not Mike Babcock.
No. Get one name. That's it.
Sheldon Keefe.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think this is not going to improve anytime soon.
And you've been on this for years now.
December 2017 on this podcast. I think the first thing, my first ever little hint.
December 2017?
The first little thing I ever said was...
That's like one of the first pods.
Yeah, it was like our 3rd or 4th podcast. It might have been during... Remember that year they played Vegas on New Year's Eve and we did a pod that afternoon? I think I might have said Mike Babcock is not going to be the coach when this team wins the Stanley Cup. It was a pretty vague prediction. And I think that's just that was my gut feeling at that time.
Were you already drunk for New Year's Eve?
No, we don't. No.
Are you sober?
Yeah. I think we had our Liquor Planet. Shout out to Liquor Planet beer, and that's yeah. So, but I've just had this hunch. Man.
For years.
Yeah.
Okay.
A long time.
Fair.
Yeah. He ran a great tank. He protected the players, but I don't want to go on a Babcock rant here. We should go. We're past that point where people are still listening to us now.
All right.
Because this has been I think this has been a really good podcast.
It's all over the fucking map.
No, that's okay though. I mean, we're going to talk about one thing for 30 minutes. A little bit of beer.
Yeah.
Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Some Leafs.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going to go for that? You want one of those like analytics podcasts where they don't even talk about?
Don't forget about bald eagles.
Eagle gender.
Eagle gender.
Anyway, we'll probably be back in about a week, eh? You got any out of town situations happening?
No, but they're not playing much for the next week. It could be a little longer, maybe next weekend.
Maybe we'll just have a little short one. Yeah, a little pop up.
I think it depends. See what happens.
A little pop tent.
I'm done.
Go Leafs, go.